Welcome to the Tiffany Mika podcast. What we do here is build the strength and courage in you to accomplish your big dreams and goals in your sport. No longer will you feel limited. You won't feel you're not good enough. You won't question whether you will make it. Those doubts will disappear because you will have the competitive edge over your opponents and leave them in your wake. And the bonus is others will notice. Listen up and take notes because I will show you exactly how to do it. Hey there, Tiff here. Welcome to the Tiffany Mika podcast. I'm so happy that you've come back. Welcome. And if you're new today, welcome. This Striving in Lockdown series is really designed not for you to just think about like being in lockdown, because I know that the restrictions are starting to ease a bit. But this is also what I want you to be thinking about, what you should actually be doing in your sport. Okay? So being consistent, that's what we're going to be talking about today, and being consistent is one of the major keys to being successful. It's a really important key for your success, or an important pillar for your success. I even talk about that in my book, Focus, How to Reach Your Potential in Sport, Business and Life, about consistency and how important it is. Being consistent, this is what I want you to be thinking about. So if you are being consistent with your positive thoughts, if you are being consistent with like being mechanically efficient with your technique, I always say you want to be mechanically efficient with your technique. If you're being consistent with your nutritional system, if you don't have a nutritional system in place, you need one, by the way. If you are being consistent with your training and your fitness, if you are being consistent with your strength training, if you are being consistent with your practice, if you are being consistent with how you perform in your sport, you are going to be a much better athlete. You are going to be a much better person. And this is how you need to operate as a person. This is how you need to operate as an athlete. You need that consistency. The coronavirus and lockdown, that's interfered with the consistency with what you were developing in your sport, hasn't it? Of course it has. It's changed everybody's consistency. And what we say over here in Australia is we say it's thrown a spanner into the works, which means it stopped everything from functioning how we knew it, right? Spanner's been thrown into the wheel, stopped everything. But because you've had to make changes like we've talked about throughout the lockdown series, I want you to understand that being consistent at your new regimes that you've taken on are just as important. So if you think about it, how do you improve a technique? Because that's probably an easy way to describe this consistency area, right? You learn the skill, don't you? You learn how to do it. You get a coach to teach you how to do the skill. And then what do? You practice that skill, that technique, over and over and over again on a regular basis. So however you are doing your training and you're practicing at the moment, you've got modifications, you still have to do that on a regular basis to improve. And like what I've been talking about in every episode, take this as what's going on as an opportunity to grow and to improve. Improving your fitness. Take it as an opportunity to improve your technique in your sport. Take it as an opportunity to improve your nutrition. Take it as an opportunity to improve your strength. Take it as an opportunity to improve your mind. Take it as an opportunity to improve your structure. Take it on as an opportunity to improve your system, right? Your athlete success system. If you don't know what I'm talking about, athlete success system, that's in the Get Focused Academy. I'll show you exactly what you need to do there. Take this on as an opportunity to improve your habits. You got to be consistent with it. If you think about even like what I do with you, right, the episodes that I share on the podcast show, I'm consistent. I put out 3 episodes a week. I'm not sure if you're aware, I've just recently launched Tiff's quick tips, and these are to complement the podcast shows, but I've put them together and they're video tips, but they're quick, short tips in under 2 minutes. Again, there's 3 a week coming out. Consistent. Posting on Instagram and Facebook. Crush it when you compete. Consistent. Planning out my week and my day. Consistent. Right? This is the stuff you've got to be doing. Being consistent. You've got to do this with your sport. The practice needs to be consistent. The training needs to be consistent. The technical skills need to be consistent. The training of mental skills need to be consistent. Your nutritional system, your nutritional plan needs to be consistent. And the reason that I say this is because when you are consistent, it compounds. There's a book that I read years ago, The Compound Effect. I think it was written by Darryl Hardy. Don't quote me on it. I know his last name's Hardy. I think it was Darryl. And I thought that was such a great book. And what he talks about in that book, the compound effect, is that there's the specific actions that you must take on a consistent basis to get the results. Now, in saying that, you could go, okay, Tiff, well, what if I did negative things? That's right. What if I did positive things? If you did negative things, what do you think would happen? Negative results, wouldn't you? If you did positive things, what do you think would happen? Positive results, wouldn't they? So the compound effect can have a positive effect, or it can have a negative effect. And it all depends on where your focus is. So if you are consistently doing these types of things, practicing the way that you need to improve, training the way that you can get stronger and fitter, refining your technical skills to be mechanically efficient, improving your self-talk on a daily basis, right? Positive words, positive phrases. Practicing pressure situations regularly. Eating the right nutrients, the right food to improve your performance. I always call it fueling your body. What do you think would happen over a period of time, like a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year, if you were doing that over and over again on a consistent basis? You'd be a much better performer in your sport, wouldn't you? You'd be getting some good results, wouldn't you? Absolutely. So that's what we call a positive effect. But if you were consistently missing training sessions, you were consistently missing practice sessions, you were only practicing or training now and then, you ate a lot more junk food, like more sugary and high fatty foods that are actually not really that great for the body. You're very rarely working on your technique, now and then, but you found it too boring, wasn't interesting enough for you. You spoke negatively to yourself on a daily basis, putting yourself down all the time. And you would only practice when there was no pressure. I can't do that unless, if there's pressure around me or distractions. I could go on, there's plenty more. So what we call that's consistent at being inconsistent. So do you think you'd be able to bring it when you compete? Like, do you think that you'd be able to bring everything out to perform the best that you could? No. And then what will happen? You'll be frustrated. You'll be angry. You'll be highly emotional. You'll put yourself down and you'd lose. Right? That's a negative effect, isn't it? So we can have a positive effect on doing the things that we need to do to become a better performer in our sport. Or we could do the opposite. but don't expect a positive result. It'll be a negative effect because you'll have done the opposite and still want a positive result, but you haven't done the work. My tennis career. Do you think I was consistent in it? Been listening to me for a while, you know what I've been talking about with the tennis and the lack of mental strength that I had there. Lack of mental anything, really. But I was consistent. I was consistent with practice. I was consistent with training. I was consistent with being dedicated. I was consistent at trying the best that I could at training. I was consistent with working hard when I practiced and trained. I was very consistent with poor self-talk. So it doesn't mean that because you're doing all the right things consistently with some or not others will give you the positive result. Like, not all actions are equal, are they? Not all actions are equal. Because even though I was consistent with practice and training, wasn't necessarily meaning that I was doing the right things in that either. Because I wasn't. I wasn't practicing specific things that I needed to practice in tennis. That I needed to do, but I thought I was consistent because I kept showing up, right? There's more to it than that. So not all actions will be equal. So I want you to get that in your head, because if you think about, like, and I talk a lot about the mental side, obviously, because this is going to be the thing that'll make you or break you. But I was consistently negative, wasn't I? I consistently lost. Even though I worked my butt off, even though I trained really hard, even though I tried really hard in my practice. Because even though I did the work, I was also doing the work on producing a negative mindset every day. I was reinforcing why I was hopeless to myself. I kept telling myself how hopeless I was. And remember, I always talk about this. It's your thoughts that produce the feelings. It's the actions that you take that will give you the results. So if you've got negative thoughts, that's going to equal negative results. If you've got positive thoughts, it's going to equal positive results. Whatever those results are, okay? But I always say in the podcast show, I always say this in the Get Focused Academy, I always say this in the Successful Athlete Masterclass, I always say this in my book, Focus, How to Reach Your Potential in Sport, Business and Life. I talk about it's your belief system. If you believe it is possible and you believe in you, results will happen. Those big dreams that you are chasing, they're going to happen because you believe that. But if you believe that it won't happen, then you are also right. And those big dreams will not happen because you don't believe in them. So believing in you needs to be consistent on a daily basis. Right? You need to practice believing in you consistently. And I think I've given you a lot of clues here today, haven't I? But here's something for you to do so that you can be consistent. I'm going to give you a really simple exercise here that you can do. You can approach this with anything, but I'm going to apply this to your sport. So what I want you to do are there's 3 steps. Number 1 is I want you to identify a skill in your sport that you are inconsistent with. So I want you to actually work on a technical skill here. And then what I want you to do is I want you to practice that skill just for 10 minutes a day. That's it. 10 minutes, highly focused with that skill that you're inconsistent with because you avoid it. Work on it for 10 minutes a day, but you got to do it every day. Number 3, I want you to do it for 30 days in a row, just for 10 minutes a day. You got to make that promise to me. Yeah, Tiff, I'm going to do that. And then what I want you to do is after that 30 days, I want you to check in with your results, what they are after that 30-day period. I believe we will see an improvement. Something very simple. So, let's get to work, huh? Let's start being consistent so we can start getting the results that we're after. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Love it if you could share with me what you like best about what you heard today. If you've got friends that you know that would benefit from these episodes, I'd love it too if you could share these episodes with your friends, because we want to build the Reach Your Potential with Tiff community as big as we possibly can. And the successful athlete community, we can't forget that. That's most important. That's what we're building. So I look forward to hearing from you. Get to work. Dream big, believe in you, go after your dreams. Take care. Talk soon. Would you like to be able to reach your potential? Great. This is what you need to do. You can get a free copy of my book, Focus, How to Reach Your Potential in Sport, Business and Life. All you need to do is go to tiffanymika.com/free book. Get a free copy of Focus, How to Reach Your Potential in Sport, Business and Life, and I look forward to seeing you there. Dream big, believe in you, go after your dreams.